Hey, movie fans. I figured with CinemaCon starting today, it was a good time to talk about some movie news. The first topic I'm going to talk about is that the first official trailer has dropped for The Hunger Games. There's some eyes on the weeping. When it comes to the Hunger Games franchise, I love the first two Hunger Games movies. Catch and Fire, in my opinion, is the best one in the franchise. I thought Mockingjay Part 1 was terrible the first time I watched it. On rewatches, I find it to be okay. I thought Mockingjay Part 2 was okay. And the last movie, Songbird, and something I can't remember the whole title of that one, I thought that movie was okay. I haven't read any of the Hunger Games books. I haven't read the new Hunger Games book either that this movie is based off of. So when it comes to this franchise, I was intrigued by this new Hunger Games movie because I love those first two movies, and I am a fan of the film franchise. And I like the teaser for this movie. When it comes to this trailer, I thought this was a great first official trailer for this movie. To me, this made me more excited for this movie than the teaser did. Like I was intrigued by this movie because of this idea of telling the story of Woody Harrelson's character. Because I love this character in those first four movies. The idea of telling a story where you see his character when he was part of the games, I think could be really compelling. This trailer made me more excited for this movie. Like I love just the tone of this trailer. I love how the colors pop in this trailer. Seeing some of the characters that we know from those first four movies when they were younger, and seeing how the games were during that time period has me really intrigued and excited. And just the idea of exploring Woody Harris's character when he was younger. Like what made him into this character that we meet in that first Hunger Games movie. Because when you see him in that first Hunger Games movie, you can tell he's been through some stuff. And this idea where he seems like he loses somebody he loves, that he gets separated from this person he loves because he gets put into the games, and just the scope of the games looks really cool in this trailer. And I love the music in this trailer, how it like builds and it really hits hard when you get to those emotional moments in the trailer. So overall, I thought this was a great trailer for Hunger Games, the summarizing on the weeping. Like to me, this has me more excited for this movie. Hopefully, it ends up being as great as those first two movies. I'm hoping because the last movie, Songbird, I thought that had really a lot of potential, and I didn't think it was bad. I just felt like that movie. I feel like that last movie with the idea of exploring President Snow, I think could have been so much better. And I feel like, and I hope with this movie, I hope this really dive into this character, Woody Harris's character that we met in those first four movies, and really get to explore his character. So overall, I thought this was a great trailer. It has me excited for this Hunger Games movie. Hopefully, it gets back to the quality of those first two movies, in my opinion. The next topic I'm going to talk about is the first trailer has come out for the Punisher special, Punisher One Last Kill. For me, I'm just going to call this a movie because these specials feel like movies to me. Like they don't feel like short films. When I think of short films, they're 20 minutes long. These feel like movies to me. I know this is the longest special out of the three so far. This Punisher special is going to be an hour, and I think the Guardians Holiday special and Werewolf by Night were in the 40-minute range, I believe. I could be off on that. This is going to be the longest one officially out of those three specials. And John Porthos, I love him as Punisher. To me, he is the best Punisher. Like no offense to those previous actors, I didn't like any of those previous Punisher movies, and I think this has potential. Like I said, I consider these to be movies to be the best Punisher movie because I just feel like he gets the character more than anybody does. Previous act when it comes to than previous actors, like this to me feels like Punisher from the comics. When it comes to like just how dark the character is and just how compelling the character is, and I loved him in everything he's been in. Like I loved him in Daredevil Born Again. I loved him in Daredevil season two. I loved the first season of the Punisher Netflix show. Season two was mediocre. I still think he was great at Punisher though. And I know John Bullock did write the special, I believe. So to me, I'm always excited because I love him as a character, and I'm excited to see him in the Spider-Man movie, of course. So when it comes to this trailer, I thought this was a great trailer. It looks like it's as violent as I want to Punisher Solo to be. The accent looks great. I love the dark tone of this trailer. And I also love how this trailer really gets. It feels like you're really gonna get into Punisher's head for this special. When it comes to him, like you see him having kind of a mental breakdown there, where he's imagining his friend from the Punisher show, his soldier friend. Which I'm glad to bring that character back. His a soldier buddy from the Punisher show, Netflix show. I'm glad we're seeing that character. I am wondering what's going on there because his friend was still alive at the end of season two. So I'm wondering like why is he imagining him there? And just like you hear like dialogue of his friends saying, "Do you think God will forgive us for what we've done?" And you see, like you hear his friend like laughing and kind of like going like, "Maybe not you." So I think I really love like mostly where it seems like the story is for this Punisher, for me personally, movie. And just you see a shot in the trailer. It looks like he sees himself in a Punisher costume. So I love how the skull looks in this trailer and the costume looks. So you can really see that he's having like a mental breakdown there. So I think this is to me this the story looks great, the accent looks great, and he just gets the character in my opinion. So I'm really excited for Punisher One Last Kill. I can't wait for this, and I think this has the potential to be, in my opinion, the best Punisher solo thing that's been done. So I cannot wait to watch this Punisher One Last Kill. The next topic I'm going to talk about is so the Mario movie has made 628 so far, and I'm not surprised by that. I thought the Super Mario Galaxy movie was mediocre. I can understand though why this movie's making a lot of money because the first one made 1.3. I think Nintendo fans, Mario fans, are having fun with this movie and loving it. I didn't grow up with Nintendo. I didn't grow up with the Mario games. I said that in my review for the movie, and for me, I don't have any interest in seeing a Mario movie. I am happy though for fans though. Like I'm happy people going to theaters, going back to see a movie. Period. And to me, if a movie's doing well, that's all I care about. At the end of the day, even if it's a movie that I thought was okay and mediocre, like I didn't think the movie was bad. It just was kind of forgettable to me. I'm happy for fans that I'm happy for movie theaters that people going in the theater. And look, this movie I think is easily going to reach a billion. I don't think it will reach the 1.3 area like the first Mario animated movie. I do think though it's probably gonna. My guess is probably gonna end up somewhere in the 1.1 area. I I definitely think it's gonna reach a billion now. Not quite as much as the first one. Like I don't think it's gonna reach that 1.3 area. Still though, this movie's a big success so far, and I definitely think though they're gonna do a third Mario movie in my opinion. So, I'm happy the movie's doing well, even if I thought it was just okay, because it means more people going to the theaters. And I'm always happy with people that I enjoy will love a movie, even if I came out lukewarm on it. The next topic I want to talk about is so there was a test screening for Avengers Doomsday, which, you know, I would say take this with a grain of salt because it's still early when it comes to Avengers for like the hero. Like this is a really early test screen for Avengers Doomsday, so I'm taking this with a grain of salt personally. And it's saying the Russo brothers deliver a great movie. It's the best movie. It's getting it's getting great. Like this internal test screen is saying people are saying it's great, like Infinity War. So we'll see. It's an internal test screen too. I think it's from like people who work at the studio. So you have to take that with a grain of salt. Grain of salt when it comes to early, when it comes to early test screening. Like I said, it's just one test screening, and I'm not ready. Like it's good to hear that. I just, I'm just kind of like wait and see when it comes to test screenings because you just never know personally if it's people who works at the studios. And I mean, it's good to hear that Avengers Doomsday is testing really well. I think they're saying its tracking is exploring with. Look, I think this movie's gonna make 2 billion when it comes out. Despite the MCU being up and down during the multiverse saga, to me, the Avengers are event movies. And this is I mean, one of the cool things about this, I will say, is that this is pre-shoots. So it sounds like this test screening was when the movie's not completely finished yet, maybe. And it's saying here, well, best take a piece of salt. This based on a leak, Marvel Studios had a private test screening of the pre-reshoots version of Avengers Doomsday for Kevin Feige and Slick Sass. So it's for Kevin Feige and people who work at the studio. They were very pleased with it. Some even called it the best Marvel movie yet. And sometimes you have to take that with a grain of salt too when people say the best one yet. So I am glad to hear they had a test screening that went well, and that it's testing as well as Avengers Infinity War, which is great. So we'll see. I'm excited for Avengers Doomsday. Russo Brothers, they, to my opinion, they've done nothing but great Marvel movies. They did Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. Four fantastic Marvel movies. So I don't really doubt them when it comes to them as directors for Marvel movies. When it comes to the stuff outside of directing Marvel movies, they haven't been the best directors. I am glad to hear though that since it's still late for this movie, that is testing well. So this gets me definitely. I'm already excited for Avengers Doomsday, so this just gets me even more excited for the movie. Next topic I want to talk about is the Mandalorian's tracking. So when it comes to the Mandalorian movie, I'm excited for this movie. I do have some fears when it comes to this movie, how it's going to do. And the tracking is tracking for this movie is basically saying it's going to have, and tracking can be off sometimes, it can be on point, or movies can open bigger than what the tracking is saying. It's saying here the Mandalorian and Grogu may have the lowest opening of any Disney era Star Wars movie, which I'm not surprised by that. And the reasons I'm not surprised by that is because these are the reasons why. It's coming off a season that a lot of people were let down on. Like season three, I didn't think season three was terrible. It was mediocre overall, in my opinion, for me at least. A lot of people were disappointed in season three. It's coming off not a great season for fans. So you have that there. You have the fact that even for Mandalorian fans, and I kind of feel this way too. Like I'm excited for this movie. That comes from the fact that I love the first two seasons. Even with that though, when I watch the trailers for this, it does feel like an extended episode of the TV show, and I think that's the problem this movie's going to run into because I don't think the trailers have done a great job at all of getting people who haven't watched the show. And for people who have watched the show, I don't think the trailers have done anything to make people go like, "Oh, we need to see this at a theater." It basically just feels like an extended episode of the show, which I think could. Which is no reason why I just don't think people are that excited for this movie because it does just feel like an extended episode of a TV show. A great example is Serenity. I love the Serenity movie. I love the Firefly show. I don't think Serenity movie made a lot of money. I remember. It's great. I love the movie. I love the show. Not a lot of people went out to go see that movie. So I think it's always a problem when you do a movie based on a show, and I feel like it was a mistake to have your first Star Wars movie be a movie that's like doing a movie based having a movie be as like a season four of a show. I think that was a mistake to be your first movie, your first Star Wars movie in years. So I think the fact that even for Mandalorian fans, I think they just feel like it's an extended episode. I don't think the trailers have been great. If I didn't watch the show The Mandalorian, these trailers have not convinced me to go check this movie out if I didn't watch the show. And that's another problem this movie's going to run into. I just don't think the trailers have gotten people excited. And the Super Bowl spot, I know a lot of people didn't like the Super Bowl spot. That didn't get people excited either. And that's the problem is that I think the trailers have been lukewarm. I don't think the trailers have gotten people excited outside of who watch the show. And I think people who watch the show, they just feel like it's an extended episode. So I'm not surprised this movie's tracking to have like the lowest opening for a Star Wars movie. I don't think like to me. I think this movie. I'll be honest. I was thinking it was maybe gonna make at most 500. I think it might. I'm thinking like probably 400 now. Maybe I just unless this movie really exceeds expectations. And I don't know how much the Mandalorian movie was budget wise. So I'm not sure like how much it needs to make. So when it comes to tracking, though, it's basically I a 7085 start in North America. It says that if it debuts on the lowest side, it would be the lowest domestic opening weekend in the Disney or Star Wars. Because I think the lowest in the Disney or Star Wars movie was Han Solo was open to 84. Oh, here we go. And there is a reported budget for it 166, which that isn't too high for a budget for this movie. Still, though, I don't know. I think the Mandalorian is going to struggle personally. I think at best it would do okay. I don't think it's going to do really all that great. Like I maybe 500 I could see it making. I think maybe at most 400. I don't think the trailers have gotten people excited for this Mandalorian, so I'm not surprised it's tracking not to have like a gigantic opening. And 70 to 8 was it 70 to 85, you know, that's not a that's not a terrible opening for a movie that will probably cost 166. You also have to count the marking with that though. I just I'm just not surprised this movie's not tracking to have a gigantic opening. I just don't think a lot of people are excited for the Star Wars movie. And I don't think it has anything to do with the Star Wars brand where people aren't excited for Star Wars movies anymore. I just think the fact that your first Star Wars movie in years is a movie coming is a TV movie. Not like it feels like a TV movie. Like it feels like I said. I think a lot of people just feel like it's a extended episode. It doesn't. The Mandalorian trailers, I don't think I've done anything to convince people outside who watch the show, and also to convince people who watch the show why they should see this at the theaters. So yeah, I'm not surprised it's tracking this low. We'll see what happens with this movie. Again, for me, I think it's gonna make five between 4 and 500. I am not surprised though with it tracking to an okay opening for this movie. I don't think it's going to open big personally. We'll see. The last topic I'm going to talk about is the first mommy reactions have come out for Link Cronin's mommy, which I'm excited for this movie. I do have one more topic I'm going to talk about after that. So the mommy reactions, which I'm excited for this movie based on Evil Eye's director. I don't think the trailers have really, for me personally, have got me excited. I know a lot of people have found the trailers creepy. For me personally, it looks like generic as a movie. The main reason I'm excited though is because of the Evil Eye's director. Like I love Evil Dead Wise. The reactions here make me even more excited for this movie because it sounds like it really leans into the horror vibe and kind of how dark with people saying it's psychologically, like dark, tense, and all that in these reactions. And I'm glad to hear that because it makes me more excited for the Link Cronin's The Mommy movie and his interpretation of like a classic horror monster. So the first reactions are saying, if I can, let's see here, where are the first reactions? Here we go. First reactions call Lee Cronin's reboot The Mommy a mean-spirited, disgusting little S of a movie. So yeah, one reaction is saying, just finished Lee Cronin's The Mommy at the Hollywood Post 43. The American Legion premiere, a dark, disturbing reboot, poor psychological horror, strong performance, eerie visuals, and gripping, a fresh, intense take on the mommy genre. Love hearing that. And ranked it 4 out of 5. I love hearing the fact that it's really tense and dark because to me, that was one of the things I was intrigued by with this modern movie, especially if you watch Evil Dead Wise, is this for this one to go like really into the horror side of this classic monster. So that sounds good to me. Here's another one. Lincoln's Mommy is the most effed up movie I've watched in a theater. Restlessly and visually haunting with ghoulish scares and imitating tested violence. Intimate tested violence. I had to look away many times. James Wan is on it, so Conjuring fans will love it. It's insane. So I love the fact that it sounds like it is really creepy and that it's tense. the trades that Lincoln's the mommy trades spectacle for intimate domestic horror, turning family trauma grief into something alien, deeply unsettling, a visceral body horror with superb sound design. So those what you expect from a monster movie. Finger and toes will curl. Sounds like a lot of people were creeped out by the movie. Again, glad to hear that. I've seen him on it, and I can confirm Brandon Fraser, because I thought that was funny. This person messing the Brandon Fraser mommy that's coming is not in the movie, but other than that, I actually enjoyed this movie. Played Hall and comedy in a perfect way. A tad long, but enjoyable. Third act goes ballistic. So you have one negative there, but it's not. This person was mostly positive with the one negative thing there, saying that so maybe a little too long. Lincoln's mommy is without question the most terrifying, disgusting mommy you ever see. Unrelated in some ways that I can't go into because spoilers. It's definitely not for everyone. But if you enjoy Evil Dead Wise, chances are you'll love this. I love hearing that. If you enjoy Evil Dead Wise, you're gonna love this. Love hearing that. You do have one thing saying it's not for everybody with how like dark this movie goes. With that has me like really excited too, like how really creepy and dark this movie is. With this one movie saying it's not for everybody, so I'm curious. Definitely makes me more excited. Is a nasty, gruesome, meat spirit, disgusting little s of a movie. It's a whipper. It plays like if Cronin saw Benno back, which I love compared to Benno back because I enjoyed that movie. I didn't think it was great, but I thought that was a solid horror movie. After bringing the Omen advancing and Brain Dead, then said bite long in the tooth, bit long in the tooth, but she bites hard. So yeah, one person saying how it's a little long again. So I'll see how I feel about the one time when it comes to that movie. Overall, though, a lot of reactions saying it's psychologically really dark. It's creepy, eerie, all good things I love to hear when it comes to a horror movie. And like I said, I loved You Were There By, so this directing a mommy movie had me really excited because of that. So hopefully this ends up being a good, great movie when I go and see it. The next topic I'm going to talk about is so you have a Metal Gear movie in development from the Final Destination Bloodlines directors. Which I'm excited for this. I'm a big Metal Gear Solid fan, and I think they're an interesting choice to do a Metal Gear Solid movie because I don't think I've seen these directors like other stuff they've done, and I'm like that's an interesting choice to direct the Metal Gear Solid movie is to direct as a Final Destination Bloodlines, which I love Final Destination Bloodlines. To me, I thought that was the best Final Destination movie in the franchise. Like to me, that one and the original, in my opinion, the great ones. So I'm excited for the fact that I love Final Destination Bloodlines. They're all definitely an interesting choice to do Metal Gear Solid movie, which is definitely a different genre. So I think they're an exciting choice though. It like has me like I'm already excited because I'm a Metal Gear Solid fan. This is definitely like not the choice I would have thought of when it comes to directing a Metal Gear Solid movie. When it comes to like the type of like style and type of genre Metal Gear Solid the games are. It definitely has me excited though for this movie. That like I said, I was already excited because I love Metal Gear Solid, and I think they're an interesting choice. Not the choice I would have thought you would get for a Metal Gear Solid movie. Definitely an excited choice though, and I believe that is all the movie news. The last movie thing I wanted to talk about is Metal Gear Solid. I mean, no, not Metal Gear Solid. Excuse me. Just talked about that. Mortal Kombat 2. Tracking for the movie has come out for that movie. I'm excited for that movie. Like I thought the first show was fun. That last show though made me excited, even though I didn't like the first movie. When it comes to the first Mortal Kombat movie of this series, love the original Mortal Kombat movie. So Mortal Kombat 2 is tracking right now. It's on track to debut with 50 to 65, which would be a step up from the first installment, which was 23.3. Which you have to take the first one and you have to take that like when it comes to the first Mortal Kombat movie, you got was released on I believe HBO Max like date to date, and was released in theaters and on a streaming service at the same time. So you have to like you know when it comes to the opening of the first one, you can't really judge the opening of the first one too much since it was put on a streaming service at the same time too. It was a day to date then, so I am going to hear that's opening higher than the first one. And I don't know what the budget is for Mortal Kombat 2, so I don't know like if this is a good opening for this movie or not because I don't know what the budget is. Like 50 to 65. I feel like Mortal Kombat 2 probably doesn't have a high like budget. At least I'm guessing it doesn't. Like if the budget isn't too high, I would say that's a good opening. I just not sure what the budget is for Mortal Kombat 2. I'm figuring since it's all weighted, yeah, there's no. I don't see a budget for Mortal Kombat 2. So I hope they don't have. I hope this movie doesn't have a big budget. I think the first one, the budget for the first Mortal Kombat movie wasn't really too high. So I'm assuming that this one doesn't have a high budget either. Because the one from 2021 had a budget of 55. I'm assuming Mortal Kombat 2 doesn't have a too high of a budget. So I'm thinking this is probably a decent, a good opening for this movie if the budget is like low. And I can't wait for Mortal Kombat 2. Like I love that last trailer, so hopefully this movie doesn't have too much of a high budget. Like I said, I can't say whether this is good for this movie because I don't know what the budget is. The budget for the first one was like 55, so I'm assuming this one isn't too much. Overall, though, I can't wait for this movie, and hopefully, Mortal Kombat 2 ends up being a really fun to wait movie, and I'm hoping that I get like at least like an entertaining Mortal Kombat movie, like at least better than the last one. So that's all the movie topics today. Until next time, movie fans.